All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Devin Tolpin. I am the Planning and Development Review Manager with Monroe County. We also have Cheryl Shafari on the line, the Assistant Director of Planning. And we have the applicants here as well. Thank you for joining us for a community meeting to discuss an ordinance by the Board of County Commissioners amending the Monroe County Comprehensive Plan to establish Goal 113, Objective 113.1, and a site-specific sub-area policy, which would establish the Tavernier Workforce Housing Sub-Area 1 in the Upper Keys. The purpose of a community meeting is to give the applicants an opportunity to present this proposed amendment to the community, to take questions. We'll listen to concerns. We will let each member that is here speak one at a time. Cheryl and I are both here to answer any process-related questions. And if there are any questions that we're unable to answer during this meeting, I will also have my email available or my phone number, and we'll be more than happy to follow up with you. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and open it up to the applicants. We have Bart Smith here and Just Goodall, and we can go ahead and get started.
Thank you, Devin. Bart Smith on behalf of the applicant. Thank you all for appearing via Zoom. I will state up front, I have been required to pick up kids at 6 o'clock on the dot, but if the meeting is still going at that point, I do have Jess Goodall, a partner in our law firm here as well, that can continue the meeting and answer any further questions. So with that being said, as Devin stated, this is a community meeting where we're here to present the proposed comprehensive plan amendment and then take input from the public on the amendment. In this case, we are proposing an comp plan goal and sub-area policy. And with that, I will share my screen. All right, so the property is owned by Singletary Concrete Products, Inc. and CEMEX Construction Materials of Florida. My clients are under contract to purchase it. And part of their proposal is to build 86 units of affordable housing. And so right now, the county only available units, other than a couple, are... Yeah.
I apologize. It's showing your the presentation. It's not, I don't know if you want it in the presentation mode.
Yeah. I can do the slideshow. Thank you. Thank you for helping with that. Now is it doing the show?
Now we see your notes as well.
There's no notes. I don't use notes, so hold on here. Let me figure this out.
The other way is fine too, but just in case.
It's probably how I opened it. Because sometimes it does this. Oh, you know why? It's doing it on another screen. That's why. That's what happens when you have more than one screen.
Mm-hmm.
There you
I've
go.
been there.
Right?
Good. We can see it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Cheryl. So as stated, this is the community meeting. So as stated, we're proposing a new goal, objective, and policy. The goal states Monroe County shall manage future growth to enhance the quality of life and safety of the county residents and prioritize the provision of workforce housing that is safe, code compliant, and resilient. To incentivize the supply of workforce housing near employment centers, the county shall provide for the development, site-specific land use mechanisms, and allocation of workforce housing, early evacuation, rate of growth ordinances from Monroe County within the Upper Keys to address the inadequate availability of workforce housing in the Upper Keys. Now we have an objective 113.1 that provides Monroe County shall create site-specific sub-areas located in Tavernier, which permit the allocation of workforce housing, early evacuation, rate of growth ordinances for developing workforce housing in suitable areas located in close proximity to an employment center. All site-specific areas located in Tavernier shall require policy defining the development restrictions and allowances for the site. And then it has a policy, which is 113.1.1, Tavernier Workforce Housing Subarea 1. The purpose of Tavernier Workforce Housing Subarea 1 is to implement applicable goals, objectives, and policies of the comprehensive plan to promote and facilitate development of workforce housing to meet the needs of Monroe County. And then it provides under 1, the boundary, which is a legal description. I'm not going to go through that. And then under 2, provides rate of growth ordinance is allocations, notwithstanding comprehensive plan policy 101.3.12A1 and LDC section 1038-24E22A. Tavernier Workforce Housing Subarea 1 shall be eligible to receive 86 logo allocations by means of award of 86 workforce housing early evacuation building unit allocations from Monroe County pursuant to the Workforce Affordable Housing Initiative reserved by means of a BOCC resolution. The BOCC made its discretion place conditions on the reservation. Then under sub 2 provides the income categories for the 86 units, which we haven't broken down yet. As we get closer to approval, we will provide a breakdown of units. And this is the site data for the site. There's approximately 6.3 acres of sub acres of upland. It's own suburban commercial. It's got a mixed use commercial flume. It's tier 3, and it's all the area proposed is scarified. And of course, this is the proposed affordable housing that is subject to this sub area. And with that, that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for dealing with my computer illiteracy. And with that, I'll take any questions that there may be from the public. Thank you.
All right, I want to go ahead and apologize while you were presenting. I've been trying to fix the video on my camera and it is unfortunately not cooperating this evening. So I do not have those capabilities, but we will go ahead and start taking public comment. It looks like Miss Helen Shinners has had her hand raised. Helen, if you want to go ahead and unmute. Helen, you have been promoted to speak. If you want to unmute your microphone in the bottom left-hand corner, you should be able to go ahead and speak.
I think if your mic doesn't work, you can also type in a comment.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a chat feature down below if you would like to chat. If you want to type your message in, we can do that. While we wait for that, we could go ahead and promote the next person who has their hand raised. I see Stuart Schaefer.
Hey there. I hope you can hear me.
We can.
Good. Hear you loud and clear.
Hey, Cheryl and Devin. Hey, Bart and Jess. Stuart Schaffer representing Sugarloaf Shores Property Owners Association. We're way down in the lower keys, but we're interested in this proposal because it proposes to use 86 early evacuation ROGOs. It wasn't too long ago, just a few years ago, that the county put in a lot of work in coming up with how to accept those 300 early evacuation ROGOs that were being offered by the state. There was a lot of objection to the county taking any of those early evacuation ROGOs through a process that, frankly, I think over the last 10 years has seen it saw the most cooperation between the public and staff in terms of fine-tuning the proposal, and what was reached was kind of a compromise where 300 early evacuation ROGOs would be created, but the deal was they would be held in a bank for takings cases. Now the proposal is forget about that takings cases use. Let's just go ahead and build them here because we're basically out of affordable housing ROGOs. So here we are in 2024, and the big issue that we'll be facing as the year goes on is what to do about possible new ROGOs that could be made available to the county by the state. And what we're going to hear about over and over from the county is how important it might be to develop some more residential units in the county to avoid takings liabilities. Well, so here we have 300 ROGOs being held for takings cases, and now 86 are proposed to just be released into the wild for a multifamily housing, which won't help a bit on takings cases. And it frankly makes no sense to us. We should hash this all out as we deal with the future ROGOs, but for the ones that are here now, it was very clearly determined what we should do with them, and that is hold them for takings cases. Again, many organizations in the county didn't even want to use them for that. They wanted the county to reject them, but the grand compromise was reached, and here we are. So our request is, please turn this request down, because it's seeking to use these banked early evacuation ROGOs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart. Let's go back to Helen. See if we can. Helen, if you're able to unmute in the left-hand corner, there should be a microphone. All right, we will circle back to you. All right, next we have DPM. If you can please state your name for the record.
Hi, it's Dottie Moses.
Hey, Dottie.
Hi. So, I spoke about pretty much the same thing that Stuart said at the impact meeting. This was set up specifically to manage takings cases, and this would not do that if we were to give them away. But I just learned that on Friday, the Department of Commerce rejected the overlay, the Tavernier Community Overlay. So how is that going to be, and how is this going to, how will this, I thought that we heard that they all had to go together. You couldn't build one without the other. So if the overlay isn't going to go, how is this going to go forward?
Hi, Dottie, this is Emily. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
We can.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not on camera either, but yes, on Friday, Florida Commerce did issue a final order rejecting that ordinance that was adopted by the BOCC on February 15. That was, as you said, to establish the Tavernier Commercial Overlay District. So that would allow for a large footprint commercial building on this property. Their determination was based on inconsistencies with principles for guiding development, Monroe County Comprehensive Plan, and the Tavernier Livable Communities Plan, and the adopted Monroe County Land Development Code. As you know, a lot of those findings and conclusions are the same that were issued by the planning department, so the BOCC in our professional staff report, and it remains our planning department position that we agree with those findings and conclusions, and we believe those are correct. So based on that final order, the ordinance for the overlay district for the commercial aspect of the property will not become effective. There is, of course, a 21-day period for anyone with substantial interest to file a petition to challenge that final order, or to file a petition to support Florida Commerce's final order, but that remains to be seen. So although, as you stated, the applicants previously represented that the affordable housing component of this project is reliant on successful development of that large commercial building, the actual text of the comp plan amendment proposed here tonight doesn't necessarily appear to link it in that way. That said, this is the really early stage of the process at the community meeting, and staff has not yet completed full analysis of the amendment. So we're moving forward with this community meeting tonight. We're just focused on the specifics of this text amendment to the comp plan as presented earlier by Bart. He may have something to add to that, I don't know, but That's the planning department's position on it.
I'll reserve my comments for any appeals or addressing it with the state. We're here to address the specific comp plan amendment and policies associated with the affordable housing.
Thank you, Dottie. Any further public comments? Not at this time. Okay.
Cheryl, I don't know if you see that from Helen.
Yep, there is a message from Helen. It says she's driving back to the Keys and radio is not working and she will just listen. And Helen, if you have questions, you can contact Devin Tolpin. She'll give her contact information. And you can contact her directly to ask staff any questions you have. Is there any other public comment?
Richard Barretto,
I see, yep,
And-
Richard Barretto. Oh,
Sam's gone up a couple times and then it goes down. Maybe promote him and see.
Hello, can you hear
Hey,
me?
Richard, we can hear you.
Okay, I just, Richard Barretto from the Tavernier Community Association. I do want to express the same concern we expressed at the impact meeting. Because I do recall there was a lot of work trying to reach the consensus that was reached in terms of how to dispose of the 300 Rogos we accepted, and we were all assured that that was going to go into a bank to be used for the Bert Harrison takings cases. And now that we're giving 86 away now, I don't know where the end is, but it seems like we're regressing into a position of liability that we're trying to avoid by giving these away. So we remain concerned about that, even though generally speaking, we support workforce housing. The other thing, just to build on what Dottie Moses said, during all of the lengthy meetings relating to the CEMEX development, we were assured by the developers that this housing could not go forward without the economic engine of a Publlx or whatever they ultimately put in there. So it calls into question of why since the overlay was denied at this point, why we would even continue to move forward on this part of it unless they found different kind of funding or what they were telling us all along wasn't quite the truth. But it seems inconsistent to say we can't do it, but now we want the Rogos to do it, even though we don't have an overlay that has a commercial district that will support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
Are
Are there any other public comments?
all right, not seeing any. I went ahead and put my contact information in the chat box. You'll see at the bottom of the screen there. My phone number, if you have any written comment, we will, throughout the entire application process, accept written comment. Feel free to email it me. We will review it. We will add it to the file. It will be reviewed. The next step for this application will be for staff to perform an analysis for consistency and compliance, internal consistency and compliance with our adopted comprehensive plan, the principles for guiding development, the land development code. The next time we will see this application at a meeting will be at a development review committee meeting. It has not been scheduled yet. The amendment will then go before the planning commission for a recommendation. It will then go before the Board of County Commissioners for a transmittal hearing, where it will then be transmitted to the state if approval is and then if approval is recommended, there will then be an adoption hearing as well. So with that being said, please don't hesitate to reach out or contact our department if there are any other questions or concerns over this application.
Thank you all. Thank you all for
Thank
showing
you.
up.
It looks like we
Yep.
just have, Emily wanted to say one more thing in case she had her hand
I
raised.
just saw that there was one more question in the.
There
um,
is, yeah, there's one more just popped in. Will the DOC ruling be appealed?
Yeah, so I don't, if Bart has an answer for that, that's fine. Otherwise, I'll just repeat what I said before that. There's a 21-day period now for any.
You're analyzing the ruling. It obviously came in late Friday, so.
Okay, so that's, I think that's the answer from the applicant's perspective. But there is a 21-day period, so. Someone with substantial interest can file a petition either to challenge the final order or in support of the final order within that 21-day period. That's all.
Thank you, Emily. Okay, if there's no further public comment, this will conclude the community meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.